Alright guys, we're going to learn how to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form given 2 points. Now there are a couple ways to do this, and we'll learn both ways through this chapter. But today we're going to focus on the slope-intercept form, using the slope-intercept form for it. Okay, so remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Right? Where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So the first thing we need to do is find slope. And I'll walk you through what we're going to do overall for this problem. We're going to find our slope, and then remember that these equations are made so that the coordinates y and x out of our points will fit into this equation and make it true. Okay, so we'll find the slopes, and what we're going to do is basically we're going to plug these in and solve for our y-intercept. So let's see how that works. Given these 2 points, 4, 6, 2, 5, we're going to find the slope. So that's y2. If you have trouble with that, remember that you can kind of label these x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so it'll be y2, 5, minus y1, 6, over x2, 2, minus x1, 4. Okay, so 5 minus 6 is negative 1. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. I know that that simplifies to give me 1/2. Okay. So our slope here then is 1/2. Cool. Halfway there. Alright. Now, with that slope, I can choose either of the points to use. I'm going to use 4, 6. The reason I choose 4, 6 is because my slope is 1/2, and I see that both these numbers are even numbers, so they'll be easier to deal with that fraction. So I'm going to say y equals 1/2 x plus b. Now, this doesn't give us our equation because we still have b. We don't have a number for our y-intercept. But what I'm going to do in order to find that is I'm going to say, well, let me plug in this point. Instead of using y, I'm going to use 6 equals 1/2. Instead of using x, I'm going to use 4 plus b. And the important part to remember is that this has to make it true, because this point, if it's on the line, should make this equation true. So the only thing that I don't know now in this equation is b, and I can solve for that pretty easily. So 6 equals 1/2 times 4, which is 2, plus b. Well, what does b have to be? I'm going to solve for b by subtracting 2 from each side. And that gives me 4 equals b. So now look, we have our slope, we have our y-intercept, and so now I can say, well, if I have both of those, y should equal 1/2, that's our slope, x, plus b. And that's the equation of our line. So again, what you'll need to do, you'll need to find the slope, plug in a point into the equation along with the slope, and solve for b. And then you'll have your slope-intercept form. Okay? Alright, you should see a bunch of those practice problems. Remember that if you're given a table, I'll just slide this up a little bit. Remember that if you're given a table such as this, x, y, maybe you're given points like 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 15, 18, 21, I don't know, something like that. Okay, so remember that each of these are points. Each of these are x comma y. Even though you have more options, you only have to choose 2 points to work with. Okay? So it doesn't matter which point you use. Whatever point you use, you can follow the same method. I can find the slope. I can plug it into y equals mx plus b. I can then solve or plug that point in and solve for b, and then write my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay? Alright, hopefully that gives you through, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as well as the other way to do this Wednesday.